Good morning. Good morning. My name is Dr. Ira Ripstein. I'm the Associate Dean for Undergraduate Medical Education, and I'm pleased to welcome you all to the University of Manitoba Bannatyne campus for the Max Rady College of Medicine's inaugural exercises and white coat ceremony. Please join me as we stand for the entrance of Rady Faculty Health Sciences Dean Dr. Brian Postal, dignitaries and members of the deanery, followed by the entrance of the class of 2021. If everybody could please remain standing for the national anthem. I invite Med 4 student Nicole Dubois to lead us in Singing O Canada, accompanied by Med 3 student Richard Zhang on the piano. Thank you, Nicole and Richard. Now it is my privilege to invite Elder Margaret Lavallee to introduce the honor song. Margaret Lavallee is Elder in Residence at Omgomnizin, the Indigenous Institute of Health and Healing in the Rady Faculty of Health Sciences. Please remain standing for the honor song to be performed by Justina McKay.
Good morning. Good morning. Exciting day today, isn't it? It's a beautiful day. Congratulations to all of you who are here for the next 4 years. And I will probably meet with you from time to time, hopefully. And so congratulations. Everything that we do in tradition starts off with ceremony. And our ceremonies are always with song and with prayer and with reflections. So we're honored to do that on behalf of the students for this time again. Everybody does ceremonies in all cultures. We always do that. Some people do that in the mornings when they get up. They greet the sun with ceremony. And some people offer prayers to the Creator, to God, or to whoever you believe in. And that's what we do as well. We give thanks for the day to the Creator, and we give thanks to be here on your behalf. And of course, on behalf of the dignitaries that are here to acknowledge your celebration of the next 4 years of working here and learning and training. Justina is going to sing the honor song for all of us. The honor song is a song that is sung for people who are going off, the young men that are going off to do whatever for their communities. And they were called warriors. Warriors of food, warriors of sustaining their livelihood in their communities. So they'd be gone for long periods of time. So when they would come back, that song was sung on their behalf for the celebration of what they did for their community. So this song is on your behalf because you become the warriors of medicine. Your future in this place of learning is going to help our future generations. And that is our hope, that this is what happens when you come to train and work with us. So I give thanks to the Creator for all of us being here today. And I give thanks to the Creator for all of you that are going to be working and learning with an open heart and an open mind. And no doubt that you will be working with Indigenous people of this province as you are in that journey of learning medicine. So I say miigwech, and I say miigwech to Justina for singing that song for us. Thank you, all my relations. Okay, Justina.
Thank you, Justina and Elder Lavallee. The University of Manitoba campuses are located on the original lands of the Anishinaabe, Cree, Oji-Cree, Dakota, and Dene peoples, and on the homeland of the Métis Nation. We respect the treaties that were made on these territories, we acknowledge the harms and mistakes of the past, and we dedicate ourselves to move forward in partnership with Indigenous communities in a spirit of reconciliation and collaboration. Please be seated. I would like to begin by introducing our platform party and special guests. The Honourable Kelvin Gertz, Minister of Health, Seniors and Active Living, Province of Manitoba. Dr. Brian Postal, Dean, Rady College of Max Rady College of Medicine, Dean, Rady Faculty of Health Sciences, and Vice Provost, Health Sciences. Dr. Trevor Young, Dean of the Faculty of Medicine at the University of Toronto, who is our Allen Class Memorial keynote speaker today and a 1983 MD alumnus of the University of Manitoba. Dr. Digvir Jayas, Vice President, Research and International, University of Manitoba. Dr. Brock Wright, President and CEO, Shared Health Services, Manitoba. Mr. Réal Cloutier, Interim President and CEO, Winnipeg Regional Health Authority. Dr. Terry Babak, Deputy Registrar, the College of Physicians and Surgeons of Manitoba. Dr. Catherine Cook, Vice Dean, Indigenous Health, Rady Faculty of Health Sciences. Dr. Sarah Israels, Vice Dean, Academic Affairs, Rady Faculty of Health Sciences. Dr. Christine Palomini, Vice Dean, Continuing Competency and Assessment, Rady Faculty of Health Sciences. Dr. Michael West, Associate Dean, Professionalism, Max Rady College of Medicine. Dr. Jillian Horton, Associate Dean, Student Affairs, Undergraduate Medical Education, Max Rady College of Medicine. Dr. Eric Jacobson, Associate Dean, Postgraduate Student Affairs, Max Rady College of Medicine, and Dr. Bruce Martin, Director of Admissions, Max Rady College of Medicine. I'm pleased to invite Dean Postal to bring greetings. In June 2016, Dr. Postal was reappointed for an additional 5-year term as Dean of the Max Rady College of Medicine, Dean of the Rady Faculty of Health Sciences, and Vice Provost Health Sciences. Dr. Postal is a graduate of the University of Manitoba. He received his MD degree in 1976 and the Royal College Fellowship in Community Medicine and in Pediatrics in 1981 and 1982, respectively. He was founding president and CEO of the Winnipeg Regional Health Authority, a position he held for 10 years. Dr. Postal has also served as head of the Department of Pediatrics and of Community Health Sciences at the University of Manitoba and the director of the J.A. Hildy's Northern Medical Unit. His research, published works, and professional involvement focus on Aboriginal child health, circumpolar health, and human resource planning. Dr. Postal was inducted as a fellow in the Canadian Academy of Health Sciences in 2011 and inducted into the Order of Manitoba in 2012. In 2014, he was appointed inaugural chair of the Research Manitoba Board of Directors. Dr. Postal.
Thanks, Ira. Good morning, everybody. It's a great pleasure to welcome all of you to the 134th commencement exercise of this faculty. Dr. Ripstein has already introduced the podium group, but I'd like to particularly acknowledge the Honourable Kelvin Gertz, Minister of Health, Dr. Trevor Young, as Ira said, a 1983 alumnus and Dean of Medicine at the University of Toronto and our Allen Class lecturer today, and of course our elders Margaret Lavalley and Mary Wilson. Congratulations to all 110 of you. You dress up real nice. The whole effort that we've been trying to achieve over the last many years, I think, are reflected in the faces sitting here today, and that's to try to accomplish a diversity in our classes that reflects the diversity of our community. This year, of the 110, 105 are Manitobans. In this class, there are 61 women and 49 men. 11 students have self-declared Indigenous ancestry, which is about 10% of our class. 1/3 of our students have had significant rural involvements, and 1 out of 5, or 20%, actually come from a rural area. Half of the class come from families with income less than $75,000, and 3 have actually entered Canada as refugees. I think it's a remarkable achievement for all of you. Now, you're all sitting here a little timid, approaching being terrified. That's pretty normal. In fact, most of us would be a little alarmed if you weren't a little timid and terrified. Some of you are a little worried that we're going to discover that you're imposters, that you don't really belong here, that we'll catch you, that there's something lacking that we will discover that you haven't previously disclosed to anybody. All I can say is we can reassure you after doing this for 134 times that we know you have the horsepower to get through what you're about to start the experience of. It's just going to require what I would call, having done it long ago, a little bit of hard work. Now, we also know your catecholamine levels are high. Those are stress hormones. And I think the only thing to reassure you is those will settle down probably in about 3 months. And the only ones with higher levels are probably your parents. I think to reassure you, this is no longer a contest. You had to compete to get into this medical school. There's no competing to get out. You will perform better through collaboration. You are clearly smart enough to complete this program and get to the next stage of your career, and that you will spend the rest of your lives being surrounded by colleagues who are smart. So the issue is no longer whether you were smart enough. The issue is really how you contribute. Now, I like to remind students that your families are here with you. I routinely warn you that they will be very curious about what you're up to. In fact, I would guess that within 7 or 10 days, you will become a source of medical knowledge to them. They'll be asking lots of questions, partly because they have the question, and partly because they want to see exactly what you've been up to and whether there is progress towards the end goal. They will also ensure, sometimes to your embarrassment, that everybody within 2 square miles of the home you grew up in, all of their acquaintances, family members, and all of their acquaintances are aware that you are medical students. Indulge them. Share your experience. They're partly how you got here, at least. And when offering them sought-after medical advice, there's only one answer, both now and for the rest of your careers: see your doctor. You're entering an always changing world. It has always been a changing world. The whole new concept of a Rady Faculty of Health Sciences talks about the interdisciplinary care that now comes with how we practice and the many benefits that that brings to patients. You will need to learn to function in integrated health teams, and you will function in structures as they are now that are always changing, and they always have changed. So the idea that we live in stable environments that never change is just a fallacy. You'll face changing payment schemes as you come to begin your practices. There'll be changing expectations from the community that you serve, and there is a change of science that occurs at a remarkably rapid rate. Indeed, all of that which you experience this year will likely be in part redundant by the time you graduate. Adapt. Continue to adapt through your careers. Change is difficult, sometimes painful, nearly always for the better. Remember that learning is a lifelong experience. This is not about 4 years or 8 years or 10 years. The expectations on you as professionals will be to be continuing to learn for your entire professional careers and to continue to use that learning to improve patient care. We spend a lot of time teaching you perhaps less what to think and more how to think. The rate of change becomes so rapid that the detail can't be kept up with. And as you immerse yourselves in what will seem to be a world of astounding detail, remember that health has a much broader context. Some of it's political, certainly in most countries, health is a very political issue. Much of it is socioeconomic, and the many determinants of health really determine health outcomes. At our peak as a profession, and all of the professions, I want you to remember that at best and at our peak, we influence about 25% of health outcomes. The rest are in others' hands. So be aware of that broad context. In this country, part of that broad context is your awareness and involvement and commitment to the Indigenous members of our community. This country has exercised systemic racism and oppressive policies for now generations, several hundreds of years, that have all impacted on health. Be clear about that. There is no other alternative discussion or argument. The findings of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, you should all become familiar with. They will really serve as the guide for moving forward for many institutions in this country, including our own. That commission reminded us of what we did as a country, and I mean we collectively, to generations of children, and described it as cultural genocide. Rai Moran, in a recent meeting of medical schools of this country in this city, reflected that we are not always what we would hope to be as a country. We are all accountable. The populations with the most needs deserve the most care. That's a very basic premise of certainly the Canadian healthcare system, and it's one I hope you will grow to cherish. Now, partly our response to the expectations on us was to create an Institute of Indigenous Health and Healing on Gamazin, and we've created a response to the Truth and Reconciliation Commission that talks about honoring traditional knowledge, safe learning environments, improving support, retention of Indigenous students, cultural safety and education as part of that, and removing barriers. There's also a broader context of our profession, and that really relates to our social responsibility and accountabilities. There are many opportunities for you to exercise that within this faculty. We've participated in Habitat for Humanity builds 3 times now. We run an inner-city science program and camp, a biomedical youth camp with other students and other health colleges. We run a student-run clinic called the Wish Clinic. We sponsor basketball camps for the core area. We've sponsored refugee families. And of course, we have outreach programs that our students participate in much of the core area of this city. You're citizens in a wonderful place. Volunteer time. Donate money when you're able. And of course, serve the community outside of your professional role. Remember, this is not about you. It's a hard lesson to remember when you're immersed in the detail and the stresses and the activities that you will be, but it really will always be about your service to patients, the development of new science, and the needs of your community. You are going to enjoy many, many privileges. Please remember and hope your families will remind you these are not entitlements. Enjoy each other. You will be lifelong friends. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Postal. Our next speaker is the Honourable Calvin Gertz, Minister of Health, Seniors and Active Living, Province of Manitoba. Minister Gertz was elected as the MLA for Steinbach in 2003 and re-elected in 2007, 2011, and 2016. He has degrees from the University of Manitoba in economics, commerce, and law, and has worked for a major financial institution and a property development company. He is extremely active in his local community, having served as Vice President of both the Steinbach Arts Council and the Steinbach Food Bank. He has received the Hope Medal of Honor from the Lions Club of Manitoba and the Queen Elizabeth II Diamond Jubilee Medal. We are delighted to have Minister Gertz join us. I'd like to invite him to bring greetings on behalf of the province of Manitoba.
Thank you, and good morning. It's always very humbling when they read your biography after Dr. Postle's. My speech will be shorter than the biography, Dr. Postle. You have someone to look up to and someone to emulate. I want to offer my congratulations to each of you who, as you enter the class of 2021. This is only my second year being able to attend and to be here, and I think it's a wonderful tradition. When I entered law school almost 2 decades ago, they brought us into a room and they told us that half of us wouldn't graduate. That didn't seem like a great encouragement, so I think that this is a much better way to start. Unless that speech is coming somewhere else, and then I won't. I'm sorry for mentioning it. But you have already achieved a great deal simply by being here, and you will achieve a great deal more, and you should feel proud of that. Those who have been on this journey with you, your friends, your family, perhaps your spouses, also deserve to be congratulated. When I went through university 3 separate times, my mother always told me that she felt like she was studying and writing those exams with me because she bore the stress of those times, and she felt like she graduated with me the 3 times that I graduated. So if you feel that way as a family member or a friend, I can tell you that there are many who have gone before you, but those who are going to be studying, remember that there are your family who are also bearing some of the stress that you have as well. Dr. Postle referenced it, and it is true that change is ever constant in the healthcare system. There will always be change, but I would take perhaps one exception with something that was said, and there is some things that do remain the same. I've had the opportunity to speak with past ministers of health over the last number of years, or who have been ministers of health for the last number of years. And recently I was speaking with one who served about 20 years ago, when we were talking about the stress that is involved within the Ministry of Health. And I asked him, why is that? Why is it one of the most difficult positions in government? And he said very clearly and very simply, it's because it's the thing that people care most about. There is nothing that people care more about than their health. And that is no disrespect to my friends in government, the Minister of Infrastructure, who would say that roads are important, and the Minister of Education, who of course would say that education is important, and those things are important, but they are not that important if you don't have your health. And so your profession is a difficult one. All of those who are involved in academia in health, it is difficult. Those who are involved in leadership or elected roles in health, it is difficult. It is a struggle, and it will always be a struggle because it is the most important thing to people, and that will never change. 40 or 50 years from now, when you are thinking of retirement, you are not thinking of that now, you will still know that it is the most important thing to people. That will always be the case. And so you are to be congratulated because you are taking on one of the most difficult occupations, but the one that has the most potential to impact people in the most direct ways. So when you have those days when you're having a difficult time sleeping, whether it's in your studies, whether it's in your practice, or sometime beyond that in the future, know that it is because you are doing the most important thing for people collectively as a society, and specifically for them as individuals. So thank you for taking this on. Best wishes in your studies, and we wish you well for a long and fruitful practice.
Thank you, Minister Gertz. The class of 2021 knows this already, but I just want to reassure the parents that our graduation rate runs around 98%. So next, I'd like to invite Dr. Brock Wright, President and CEO of Shared Services Manitoba, to say a few words.
Good morning. Thank you very much. I too want to congratulate you, the class of 2021, and all of those of you who are here today who have supported the students and have cheered them on over many years. You all have a great deal to be proud of. This is a very exciting time to be entering the medical profession. Under Dr. Postal's leadership, the various health faculties were brought together under a single Rady Faculty of Health Sciences, which has created many new opportunities for interprofessional education that will greatly enhance physician training and will lead to more collaborative clinical teams when you are ready to enter practice. Dr. Jomek and Dr. Babik have been working together with their colleagues who lead other regulatory bodies in Manitoba and with the government to expand the scope of practice for other health professions. And this will also build stronger clinical teams and will enable physicians in the future to focus more on what they are uniquely trained to do when they're in practice. Under Minister Gertz's leadership, Shared Health Services Manitoba is being established, a provincial health organization that will bring all of the regional health authorities together with the University of Manitoba to plan health services in the province, to establish consistent standards of practice province-wide, to develop innovative models of care that fully utilize everyone's scope of practice, and to support the recruitment and retention of healthcare providers in particularly rural and remote areas of the province. Manitoba really is unique in Canada because of the very good relationships that exist between the many stakeholders that are involved in healthcare. And this is a significant advantage for us. We now have an opportunity to align our efforts in ways that were not possible before, and this will lead to a much improved healthcare system. And in fact, many of us believe could lead to Manitoba having the best healthcare system in the country. Physicians will continue to play an absolutely essential role. We need to continue to embrace our colleagues in other professions and develop new ways of working together that fully utilize everyone's scope of practice. We must continue to ensure that the care we provide is necessary and evidence-based, and that the resources we used are used efficiently and waste is minimized. We must ensure that the dollars that are allocated for insured services are used as cost-effectively as possible so that we can afford more services and improve access to care for more patients. And we all must continue to play a leadership role in determining what health services will be needed in the future and how best to organize the delivery of those services across the province. And as Dr. Postal was saying, in particular, we need to focus on equity and to ensure that the health services we provide are targeted to those in our province and those in our community with the greatest needs. I want to say that you're very fortunate to be in the Max Rady College of Medicine because you have a dean who was a leader in our health system. Some would say, he might say the leader in our health system for many, many years. And he really understands what physicians of the future need to be equipped to do. You also have a wonderful group of associate deans, many of whom I've had the privilege of working closely with over the years. And all of them are very highly regarded in our profession and are very committed to ensuring that you have the best possible learning experience. So again, I want to congratulate you on having achieved a major milestone. There are many wonderful opportunities ahead of you. As the dean emphasized, as physicians, we need to maintain our humility. We can't let being doctors go to our heads. I would encourage you to choose an area of medicine that most interests you and ignore what the various specialties earn, because that in and of itself will not bring you joy, and all of us here today want you to have careers that are filled with joy. And finally, I just want to leave you with the thought that, of course, as physicians, we must always treat our patients with respect and compassion. And as you go through your training, think about how you feel when someone you care about is vulnerable and needs medical care, and think about what you hope for in that physician who is caring for your loved one, and be that physician for the patients you care for. So congratulations. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Wright. I'd now like to welcome another partner of the Max Rady College of Medicine and Rady Faculty of Health Sciences, Mr. Réal Cloutier, Interim President and CEO, to bring greetings on behalf of the Winnipeg Regional Health Authority.
Good morning. Thanks, Ira. Good morning, students, families, faculty members, and special guests. Bonjour. I'm delighted to be here to congratulate all of you for being accepted into medical school. I appreciate the journey to get here was likely challenging, but rewarding. And now you're entering the next phase of those challenges and responsibilities you assume in this career. It's a wonderful day you and your families have much to be proud of as you reflect on the path of hard work and sacrifice that brought you here today to take your place among those who have been called to do this vital work. The white coat that you put on today is a symbol of your commitment to humanity, your regard for the health and well-being of your patients, your appreciation for the art of medicine as well as science, and the knowledge that warmth and compassion are as much your tools as a scalpel or a prescription. Remember that the path that led you to this place does not end here. As you continue on your way, there will be long days that will push you hard and dark nights that you will wonder whether you're in over your head. At times like those, you must remember that you're not alone. Your family, friends, and fellow students are with you every step of the way. You are here today because you are indeed ready for all that lies ahead. My wish for you is that you find fulfillment in your work, as that you bring all your skill and ability to bear to the service of others. And remember that you are no less human than those you serve. You are beginning this new phase of your career at a time when healthcare landscape is changing rapidly. Both the minister and Dr. Postal spoke about that. Today, collaboration and openness is key. No one person has all the answers. We're asking more of our physicians today and going forward. Physicians have a critical role to play in how we manage our healthcare resources. As part of the team of healthcare providers and administrative leaders, you must help us innovate and find ways to use our resources more effectively to ensure that our system is sustainable today, but going into the future. More is not always better. Using our resources in a better way is more. We are challenged every day to innovate while responding to complex challenges, to question the status quo, to get comfortable with being uncomfortable, and to require ourselves that we reach deeper and higher. And the while guided by extraordinary commitment that brought us here today, so that we might celebrate all that you have achieved and all that you have yet to contribute. On behalf of the Winnipeg Regional Health Authority, I applaud the members of the class of 2021 as you join the physician community. You have much to be proud of and much to look forward to. Congratulations.
Thank you, Mr. Cloutier. Our next speaker plays a key role in our profession of medicine. I'm happy to invite Dr. Terry Babbitt, Deputy Registrar, College of the Physicians and Surgeons of Manitoba, to bring greetings on behalf of the college.
Dr. Ripstein, Minister Gertz, Dean Postal, ladies and gentlemen, the class of 2021. It's my privilege to bring greetings on behalf of the College of Physicians and Surgeons of Manitoba to the members of the class of 2021. Winnipeg was witness to several gold medal performances in July at the Canada Summer Games. Proud athletes took their place at the podium in the presence of their family and their friends as we toasted their accomplishments. This morning, we toast the accomplishments of the class of 2021, all gold medal winners in their own right. Achieving admission status to the Faculty of Medicine at the University of Manitoba requires the energy, dedication, and courage of a gold medal winner. Your family and friends are very proud of you this morning. Your university is very proud of you this morning. And your college is very proud of you this morning. The College of Physicians and Surgeons is responsible to regulate the practice of medicine in the province of Manitoba. It is our job to protect the public, and we are responsible for the quality of care and the standard of care which our members provide to their patients. You are all our members. Please remember that we are all here to serve the public, and this is a role that we have each chosen. Welcome to our profession. I am delighted to count you now each as my colleague. I extend to you my personal best wishes on this glorious journey that we call medicine. Thank you very much for your kind attention, and to the members of 2021, best wishes and good luck.
Thank you, Dr. Babbitt. Now it's my pleasure to introduce the distinguished alumnus who will give this year's Allen Class Memorial Address. Dr. Trevor Young is Dean of the University of Toronto's Faculty of Medicine and Vice Provost, Relations with Healthcare Institutions. Dr. Young graduated in medicine from the University of Manitoba in 1983. After completing postgraduate training in psychiatry, he earned his PhD at the University of Toronto in 1995. He was a research fellow at Johns Hopkins School of Medicine. He has held positions as Professor of Psychiatry and Behavioral Neurosciences at McMaster University, Head of the Psychiatry Department at the University of British Columbia, and Chair of the Psychiatry Department at the University of Toronto. Dr. Young is a clinician scientist who studies the molecular basis of bipolar disorder and its treatment. He has published more than 200 peer-reviewed journal articles and has held more than 35 peer-reviewed grants. He has received many awards for his contributions to the field of mood disorders. He is a distinguished fellow of the American Psychiatric Association and a fellow of the Canadian Academy of Health Sciences. He has led several large clinical programs, including the Mood Disorders Program at Hamilton Psychiatric Hospital. Since 2015, Dr. Young has been Dean of Canada's largest Faculty of Medicine with more than 8,000 faculty members and 6,900 students. Enrolled in undergraduate medicine, postgraduate medicine, radiation sciences, and professional and doctoral graduate programs. As Vice Provost, he is also responsible for the University of Toronto's relations with healthcare institutions. The Faculty of Medicine and 9 fully affiliated hospitals partner in one of the largest research enterprises in North America. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Trevor Young.
Well, thank you for your warm welcome and a really nice introduction. Thank you very much. And this is a great excuse for me to return to my alma mater. It's really great to be back here. I remember when I first stepped foot on the University of Manitoba campus, the Earth's crust was still cooling. The mosquitoes in Winnipeg weren't actually just the size of pterodactyls, they actually were pterodactyls. In truth, actually, it was the late 1970s when I started medical school. Egypt and Israel had just signed the Camp David Accords. Harvey Milk was assassinated that year along with George Moscone, and a guy named Trudeau was prime minister. But what I remember most when I sat where you are now was a sense of awe at what lay ahead. I'd arrived from Saskatchewan. My father was a family doctor there. He started out doing locums in Newfoundland and then ended up in a small town in Saskatchewan and then later to the big city of Regina. He really gave me an experience to understand the impact that you could make as a physician, not only to your patients, but also to the community. I was really sold at that point. So I packed up everything, came here to Winnipeg, an even bigger city. I found a very accepting, open-minded, progressive, and academically focused community, and it was my home for a number of years. I discovered many things here that would take me across the country and around the world. So just to reflect, when I was sitting in your seats, some things that I thought were unquestionable facts. First, childhood cancer was pretty much a death sentence. AIDS was incurable, and mental illness invariably meant that patients would suffer either in silence, not even talk about it, or end up in a psychiatric hospital. Yet since I graduated in 1983, many of these assumptions have really been upended. We're on the verge of curing many kinds of cancer, and childhood cancer is doing very well in many instances. AIDS for many is a chronic condition, and mental illness is not only treatable, but openly discussed by, among others, both a wife and mother of our Prime Minister, another guy named Trudeau. So what seems impossible today can change almost in an instant when you and a dedicated team commit yourself to finding solutions. I know that sounds lofty, but let me take you through some of the evidence. If you were diagnosed with childhood leukemia when I was born around 1960, you stood about a 20% chance of survival. Think about that. Only 1 in 5 children would beat that cancer at that age. But between the late 60s and the 1970s, that survival rate almost doubled to about 50%. When I graduated, the survival rate was 80%, and now it's close to 95%. So in a span of a generation, we've gone from 1 in 5 children surviving this kind of cancer to 9 out of 10. And while the survival rate for each type of childhood cancer varies, obviously, the general upward trend has been there across all types. Now, I'm not suggesting the fight has been won. We have still much more to do and new treatments to develop. But considering this pace of progress, I'm optimistic that cancer actually can be beaten, if not in my lifetime, then in yours. As I began medical school, reports began to circulate about a gay men's cancer. Now, it's really easy to forget how terrifying AIDS was back in those days for LGBTQ2S people and their families, but also for health providers. By the time I graduated, the virus had just been identified, and at that point, the first drug to treat it was 4 years away. The disease didn't even have a proper name. It was a terrible, like a plague, which was there, and it really weighed heavily on me at that time and many others. It really clouded some of the best days of my life as a medical student. In the early days, HIV/AIDS ravaged the gay community, but also posed a considerable threat to the developing world, our blood supply, to name a few. In 1980, there were 31 deaths in the U.S. Due to HIV/AIDS. 5 years later, around 6,000. 5 years after that, 20,000. And 5 years after that, 50,000. The threat was real. The worry, fear, and misinformation that surrounded the disease is hard to accurately convey. But thanks to a global effort, physicians and scientists have developed combined antiretroviral therapy, which has substantially extended the life of HIV/AIDS patients. Consider this. A 20-year-old person born today in North America who isn't treated has will live probably to the age of 32. But if treated, their life expectancy is late 70s, close to the baseline rate for a North American. So we've closed the gap 50 years in lifespan. It's amazing how we've been able to do that. Leaders in public health and philanthropy have increased access to antiretrovirals around the world. There, of course, remains political and other socioeconomic reasons as barriers, but it's really moving in the right direction. People are now even talking about HIV may become like polio or smallpox, something that we eradicate perhaps in your careers. Here in Manitoba, of course, just think about the Ebola virus. Think about the discovery of vaccine that was made not far from here when you think of what might be possible in your careers. Dr. David Burns, a professor emeritus at Stanford University and the namesake of the Burns Depression Checklist, has said, "Depression has been called the world's #1 public health problem. In fact, depression is so widespread, it is considered the common cold of psychiatric illnesses. But there is a grim difference between depression and a cold. Depression can kill you." The World Health Organization estimates depression affects 350 million people around the world. Bipolar disorder, about 60 million people. Schizophrenia, 20 million. Dementia, about 50 million. And nearly 1 million people die from suicide every year. And what we've seen lately is suicide in teenagers has doubled in the last decade. So let me kind of put that in perspective. Those numbers would equate to the population of the entire population of the United States having depression. Given their political situation, we might understand a little bit about that right now. All of the UK would have bipolar disorder. Everybody in Australia with schizophrenia. Spain, that population with dementia. And annually, the population of Manitoba dies by suicide. Just consider the burden of disease through disability-adjusted life years, which is a measurement of years lost to ill health. Neuropsychiatric illnesses have the largest impact of any other category, greater than cardiac disease, respiratory disease, and cancer combined. There's a huge problem that still needs to be solved, but we're making great progress. Early intervention helps a lot, one of the single biggest advances we've been able to make. Talking about mental illness helps a lot. We recognize the symptoms, we're not afraid to seek help, and it's something that I know as dean, it's something very much on our students' mind, our faculty's minds, our families' minds. It's something that we've really changed in a very short period of time. Neuroscience is incredibly exciting. We're now trying to understand neuroinflammation, the endocannabinoid system, trying to figure out how we can have pharmacologic treatments that prevent psychosis from coming on. We have new treatments, deep brain stimulation and other treatments for chronic illnesses. We've also been able to understand that medical health, your wellness, depends on being mentally well too. Simply put, there's no health without mental health. In Toronto, we started a big project called the Medical Psychiatry Alliance. It's a 6-year project funded by 4 of our hospitals, the Government of Ontario, and a very generous anonymous donor. And we believe that improving health, integrating care will really help everybody do much better. And it's really impacted our new curriculum for our medical students as well. So when I sat where you were, we didn't actually have this building then, but it was not as nice a building, but sitting there waiting to start, many of these examples that I told you about seemed impossible to solve. The tasks were too large, the odds were too long. Yet in a relatively short period of time, new solutions, therapies, and opportunities have been found. Where there was hopelessness, hope now abounds. So as you begin your studies, I hope you'll maintain a sense of awe at what is possible. Maybe it's preventing teenage suicide. Maybe it's stopping dementia from occurring. Or maybe it's addressing the opiate dependency crisis which is there, or finding more equity to our First Nations or our new Canadians, for instance. You'll find something to be interested in, and I know that you'll focus on that. So passion is very important. I found my passion actually in these buildings, in this building, and I think it was lecture hall C or B, I can't remember which one. That was all about trying to figure out the chemical imbalance that caused bipolar disorder. That passion burned in me brightly for a long time. It took me to the lab, it took me to the clinic, it took me to hospital administration and now educational programs. It helped me learn a lot about healthcare, people, caregivers, students, and people in general. And I know you'll find your own passion. Be open-minded to it, and I know that passion will take you very far. So let me close in saying a little bit about a current passion that many deans have, and I share this with Dean Postal. Diversity and inclusion are probably the most important things that we can focus on in medical schools today. We really need to make sure that everybody is welcome in our medical schools. And in fact, that's just not because that's the right thing to do, but that's how we're going to achieve excellence. We actually believe it's a differentiator for us in Canada, really focusing and taking together all different voices. It will really help us succeed in education, care, and also in research. In Toronto, we launched a new Black student application program, very important to Toronto. 8.4% of our population has a Black, Caribbean, or African background, and yet we have only a handful of students which is there. We're so inspired by the work you're doing here. Your Indigenous health commitment is amazing. It makes me proud to be an alumnus, seeing what you've been able to do here. I'm so intrigued by your Indigenous Institute of Health and Healing on Gomazin, which opened in June. It's really a bold statement of this university's commitment to its Indigenous students. In April, my faculty, many leaders came to the Canadian Conference in Medical Education. Rai Moran, the first director of the National Centre for Truth and Reconciliation here at University of Manitoba, gave a keynote address. He was a last-minute change in the program. I can't tell you the impact he had on our audience, really just putting into perspective how important this was. We've invited him to come and be a visiting professor so we can learn from you what we can do to really address this big area of inclusion. This time we must seek as many opportunities as we can to reconcile our histories and renew our relationships with Canada's Indigenous people. And really, the University of Manitoba is providing a powerful example from which we all can learn. Chi Miigwech. I'm sure you, University of Manitoba's newest medical class, know why you're here. You know what makes your passion for medicine burn bright. I encourage you to keep that passion at front of mind through your entire studies, and when you finish as well. You'll be challenged, you'll be frustrated, but if you trust your gut and let your own personal North Star guide you, professional and personal fulfillment will be your reward. I wish each of you great success. I congratulate every one of you. I congratulate all your families. I want to thank Dean Brian Postal for the invitation to be here. I want to thank Danny Klaas and his family making this lecture possible. I really want to thank the University of Manitoba for my foundation, my inspiration. So thank you for being here, for me being able to be here today. Congratulations, and enjoy the next 4 years. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Young. We're so pleased that you were able to join us and welcome the class of 2021 and share your wisdom with our province's future physicians. The Dr. Alan H. Lipson Memorial Award in Medicine is presented to a student who has demonstrated participation and leadership through volunteer and extracurricular activities, either in the Max Rady College of Medicine or the community at large. This year, the award recipient is Gurmeet Kaur Sohi, a Med4 student. We congratulate Gurmeet, but she's unable to be with us here today. We now move on to the white coat ceremony for the Max Rady College of Medicine, class of 2021, the moment you've all been waiting for. Through ceremonies and rituals, society passes on its values and publicly acknowledges the importance of certain transitions in the lives of its members. Such events provide inspiration and help us to outline society's expectations. The Arnold P. Gold Foundation White Coat Ceremony welcomes entering medical students and helps establish a psychological contract for the practice of medicine. This event emphasizes the importance of compassionate care for the patient as well as scientific proficiency. The White Coat Ceremony was initiated on August 20th, 1993 at the Columbia University College of Physicians and Surgeons. Currently, a White Coat Ceremony or similar event takes place at a majority of Canadian and American medical schools and internationally. I would like the cloakers to please come forward. Dr. Brian Postal, Minister Kelvin Gertz, Dr. Brock Wright, Dr. Catherine Cook, Dr. Trevor Young, Dr. Sarah Israels, Dr. Terry Babak, Dr. Jillian Horton, Dr. Michael West, and Dr. Digvir Jayas. Now, on the off chance that parents want to take a picture, you're invited to come and take a photo, but the students will be coming up in groups of 11. It's alphabetical, so please wait until your student's group comes up before crowding the stage. So you make sure that next set of parents can get in. So the cloaking of the class of 2021 begins with the first 11 students. Each student will come to the mic, as reluctant as they are, and introduce themselves as he or she approaches the stage.
Agarwal.
Mariam Ahmad. Andrea Antarola.
Joe Savino.
Danica Avery.
Lauren Baker.
Fatima Bakhtiari.
Alicia Bodwin. Carrie Bergen.
Kanor Bangu.
Kieran Buller.
Rachel Blaine.
Anna Blankstein.
Nicole Barrier.
Kristen Braun.
Luke Bruton Campbell.
George Kai.
Kaylin Chesley.
David Chung.
Justine Sirik.
Brooke Cochran.
Stephen Cooper.
Sam Creighton.
Braden Cruz.
Nick Chekrin.
Joseph Darcel.
Megan Devian.
Amrit Dollywall.
Justin Feilberg.
Gabriel Furman.
Michaela Gowiak.
Matthew Janung.
JJ Gerstein.
Jamie Gillis.
Gossick.
Stanislav Gomon.
Kristen Gray.
Upseret Hailu.
Zach Hall.
Sean Higgins.
Jennifer Holmberg.
Lawrence Jacobs.
Rahul Jayas.
Carrie Johnson.
Dov Kagan. Brennan Kaida.
Lucy Karp.
Stephen Kesselman.
Woojin Kim.
Eugene Kim.
Cole Kube. Eugene Kwok.
Suman Laki.
Amy Lamb.
Ashton Ledger.
Erica Lee.
Matt Levesque.
Henry Lee.
Anna Liu. Lu Mei Liu. Grace McEwen. Shivani Mathur. Junie May. Anna Melanson. Erica Mondor.
Jasni Matamani.
David Nelson.
Kayla Newman. Carrie Onatera.
Adam Podelko.
Christian Palaschuk.
Zach Penner.
Dominic Pierroni.
Stephen Retta. Ian Reinhorn.
Kevin Ross.
Marinia Rosnick.
Ilan Rubinchik.
Mick Sackett.
Amy Sahai.
Nikita Sarangal.
Rathik Shah. Alexander Sharp.
Janessa Siemens.
Vivin Simon.
Sarah Smith. Megan Circupit Jones.
Mohammed Sufi.
Tyler Spencer.
Hannah Sturton. Augusta Stovey. Britt Stojak.
Nicholas Vilica.
Karen Taylor.
Lana Tenenhouse. Jordan Tisdall.
Peter Tricilo.
Sydney Tuckett.
Paige Vandersweep.
Rebecca Van Ginkel.
Fiona Vickers.
Sarah Wang.
Wendy Wang.
Yi Hui Wei.
Lachlan Wilson.
Kaian Zhu. Cynthia Zhu. Nicole Zaki. Leanne Zerke.
Michael Zanell.
Dr. Postal will now recite the Hippocratic Oath. All physicians in the audience are invited to rise and join in the recitation of the oath.
You ready? Now being admitted to the profession, I solemnly pledge to consecrate my life to the service of humanity. I will give respect and gratitude to my deserving teachers. I will practice medicine with conscience and dignity. The health and life of my patients will be my first consideration. I will hold in confidence all that my patient confides in me. I will maintain the honor and noble traditions of the medical profession. My colleagues will be my brothers and sisters. I will not permit consideration of race, religion, nationality, party politics, or social standing to intervene. I will maintain the utmost respect of human life, even under threat. I will not use my knowledge contrary to the laws of humanity. These promises I make freely and upon my honor.
Thank you, Dr. Postal. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the Max Rady College of Medicine class of 2021. Now, I'll ask Elder Mary Wilson to give a reflection. Please be seated.
Good morning and congratulations to you all. My English name is Mary Wilson, but my name is grandmother of 4 directions and also walks with wolves. When we do things, we always tell things in a little bit of a story. I am so honored to be asked to help you to see what possibilities you may come across. Because with my name being Grandmother of Four Directions, it means when we are very young, we are given the obligation of being named, which talks to us about our life path, what tells us deep down where we're directed. With my name, it means I'm the moon that watches over the medicine wheel of life for all the people of Four Directions. So it is my honor to do this with you today. So the one thing I want to remind you of is there's going to be two things that I heard here today that were mentioned. One was humility. And that, because I'm a Wolf Clan mother, is my teaching. But the basis of that teaching is that you will never be better or less, more or less, than anyone else. That you will always treat somebody with respect and you will be treated with respect. And the other part is that you are doing this because you are love. You are love. You represent the greatest gift to humanity, and that is the ability to be phenomenal healers, to bring people together, to give them the opportunity to have their babies, to walk them through life, right to their final days where they cross over to the great beyond. With Ungamazin, we speak of the path of many generations to come. You are those generations. You are the beginning of a new world where all people will be included in health and wellness. We really appreciate your effort. We want to thank you as the elders, and we want to thank you from all of us to you on your journey. Remember to go from the heart. It has incredible intelligence, and the heart of the earth, being here on Turtle Island, will help you to return to nature when you're stressed out. And remember that the head will help you just think it through. But the best thing you can always do is return to the center of your own being on your path. So with this, know that the sun will rise in the morning. And when you leave, remember to shower it off, because the water will take this away from you. It will take away your stress. It'll give you rebirth every day. Water and the sun. Connect to the earth. Return to the natural laws. Chimigwech. Ekose. Aye aye.
Thank you, Dr. Elder Wilson. To conclude today's inaugural day ceremonies, just before you go up to the second floor for a complimentary lunch reception, I'd like to ask Dean Postal to say a few final words.
Well, once again, congratulations to the class of 2021, and thank all of you for coming. I'd like to thank the undergraduate team for a very well-organized inaugural, and to all of our special guests who made remarks, and in particular Dr. Trevor Young for his very insightful comments. Also like to thank Elders Margaret Lavelli, Mary Wilson, and Justina McKay for the honor song. And as Ira has said, there'll be a reception immediately following, just on the second floor at the back, and we look forward to being able to see some of you there. Thank you very much.